Hi, everybody. On today's episode of the Honest Art Podcast, I'm answering your burning questions. I'm answering questions about you want to apply to galleries, but you're not quite sure how, and you don't want to offend the gallery owners. So I'm talking about that. Just real quick to tell you, you're not going to offend a gallery owner unless you're rude. They are used to getting hundreds of submissions a week in many cases. So for you to submit to a gallery, all you really need to do is you need to send a letter that is really concise and professional. Not like I did when I first started applying to galleries. Concise and professional, letting them know why their gallery is a good fit for you. And then you also want to include like 3 to 5 images, your best images of your best art. And then also include links of where they can find you to find more information about you within the email. And then always follow up. But for sure, you want to do your research first to make sure that the gallery is a right fit for you. You want to make sure the gallery is a right fit in terms of your style and your medium. You want to make sure it's a right fit in terms of price. And you want to make sure it's a right fit in terms of your career. So a lot of galleries will want to support emerging artists, and others will only want to support dead artists. So you got to make sure you're applying to the right gallery. The second question is about creating art from home versus creating art in a studio. And the question was, does it affect our ability to create honest art? Now, having created art from my home for the majority of my career, it was really fun to answer this question. And the thing is it can, because if you have put your art out there for people to walk through the room, if it's your dining room or if it's your kitchen, or even if it's another room in your house, you kind of are leaving yourself open and a little more vulnerable than, say, if you had a studio and a lock and key and you can close that. But I gave some tips that were really helpful to me when I was creating art from home. And one of those tips is you want to set some boundaries with the people that are in your home. And I think you'll appreciate the podcast to elaborate on that a little bit more. And then lastly, there was a question about what to do if you are like a semi-established artist. You've been painting a while, but it's not your full-time gig, but you want to make it your full-time gig. What are some things that artists can do to do that? And I elaborated on all of this on the podcast, but I can tell you an email list is really important. Also, a social media presence is really important. And I know you know this, but it's important to be consistent. Actually, studies have shown that if you don't have a social media presence, it's like you don't exist. So you definitely want to have a social media presence. And I go into a little bit more about what that would mean. So lastly about that is you could also apply to artist organizations in your area, and I teach you a little bit more of what to do with that. So I hope you will join me this week on the Honest Art Podcast.